What exactly is the ego? Well, it is the thing that can block you from living a life more abundant. When we are so attached to the ego, we do all kinds of things that reject and push away the life that is meant for us, and we don't even know that we're doing it. And often most people are like, I don't even know what my ego is, man. Like, I don't know what's real and what's not, and what's just my ego. And so I'm just going to tell you here that, there's all these rules that get, set aside, like, oh, we must do things in this way, and we must do things in that way. Like, for example, if you were to look at the Bible, the 10 Commandments, like, don't kill people, worship God, don't steal, blah, 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 all these things. These are actually ego-based rules that the soul knows nothing about. The soul has nothing to do with any of these human, earthly, ego conditions. It knows nothing of these things. They don't apply to the spiritual realms of the soul. The soul knows nothing of such human impulses of, like, wanting to steal or commit adultery or sleep with your neighbor's wife or slander or tell lies. It just doesn't know about these things. And therefore, these things that we are like, oh, I cannot do this, or I could never be forgiven, all these things are ego related. So it's like, okay, well, how do we get rid of that? Okay, so think about this. Ego impulses, they either impel you to grasp possessions which you believe will make you more comfortable and happy, or you push away or even defend yourself physically, if necessary, from those elements and things which make you uncomfortable or are perceived to be dangerous to your life and your well-being. And so when we look at our life and we think, okay, so is the ego in control here in this situation? This is how you would know. Let's say that you have this intuitive hit and you're like, I feel like I'm supposed to, move to this other country and go do this other thing, but how could I possibly do that? Okay, so the how could I possibly do that comes from the ego, whereas the intuitive hit of, I need to move out of the country and do this thing came from the divine. But the ego is then like, wait a second here. We got rules, we're living on earth. But here's the most beautiful thing about it is we actually don't have rules, but yes, we are living on earth. So I'm going to give you some examples here of exactly that. So let's say that you're told you need to go and you need to go do this thing, and you're thinking, how can I do that? Let's use an example of you need to quit your job. Okay, so you feel like you need to quit your job, and you've been thinking this for like some time now, right? Like, you're like, I don't know, I don't like it, it doesn't make me happy, I really feel like I need to quit. Okay, so, but in the meantime, why haven't you quit? Well, because your ego is like, I'm clinging to this because it makes me comfortable, it pays my bills, I need to do the thing. I don't like change, that would be different. I don't know what would be on the other side of change, right? So it clings, your ego clings to the comfortable and to the known. Whereas this intuitive hit that you got that said, you need to go do this thing, well, we just dispel that away as, how logically could I do that? But the thing about this earth is that it is all the spirit made visible, and so things don't need to make logical sense for them to pan out. I'm going to give you an example here, a couple examples. I just got off of a call with my friend here, JJ. He's freaking amazing. St. Louis, if ever you need some video work or someone to write or do things like this for you, man, I will hook you up with like the guy. He's the guy. So anyways, we're talking and I'm saying, well, I made a decision when I was in meditation that to energetically, I'm, ending this work connection that I had. I get this hit and it's like, no, it's done and it's over with. And I was almost shocked by this, that I'm like, what? Where's this coming from? Why would this happen? Why is this out of nowhere here? But, I didn't question it. I just am deep in meditation, had this come through, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's that, made a decision. And so there was no rhyme or reason to this. There was no like outright, I need to do this because of this. Like, I was not making this decision from my own mind. It came through in meditation. So I'm like, okay, cool. I guess that's what I'm doing. I have to end this. And I decided like, okay, that's it. Cool. And I'm cool with it. And it's just kind of like anything else that, there's no attachment to it. once you understand, like, okay, well, you're asking me to do this, to end this, obviously there's a purpose for it, so cool, thanks, okay, it's done, decidedly so. Okay, so then what happens is I've cut that off energetically. I haven't spoken a word, I haven't told a soul, it has not left my mind energy field, that decision that was made. However, I then get a phone call the next day that's like, hey, from somebody else, you've been on my heart. I feel like, I need to do this with you and I need to work with you. And the divine keeps telling me, hey, I need to help you do this thing and blah, 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 blah. And so within less than 24 hours, like I'm talking probably, maybe around 10 hours, I made a decision, energetically decided something like firm, no going back and forth, no wavering, just like, okay, that's how it is now. And then within 10 or so hours, I get a message from someone else that is energetically aligned with me 100%, offering me something that is going to replace and elevate what I had just let go of. However, had I let my ego get in the way and be like, oh, this isn't happening, how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that, and I live in this place and what would I ever do, had I allowed my ego to come into it, well, first of all, I probably would have been then in a state of confusion and I wouldn't have made that decision. And because of my state of confusion, I then energetically wouldn't have ended something, which then would not have allowed for a new thing to be given and presented to me. Right? But so often we're told, like, okay, well, you got to quit the job, but then you don't have a backup plan. You're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, and then we let our ego get in the way when the divine has given you specific instructions, but we use our logical mind and go, yeah, but that's not going to make sense. I mean, what if I get uncomfortable? What if this happens? And we let our ego talk us out of something that we know. And what's the result of that? It's usually never good, right? Then we're in a situation that we feel uncomfortable about. How many people do you know that have, like, let's say got divorced and they tell you, oh, we were done 5 years before. Well, I stayed 5 years too long. Like, I've had multiple, maybe this is just my reality here, but I've had multiple people tell me something along those lines of like, oh, I way overstayed. Why? Ego. Every single time, because the ego is telling you, oh, but change is uncomfortable. Oh, but we're comfortably uncomfortable here. Oh, and it will give you all of these reasons and all of these things to cling to this, to let go of this, to do all of these things, but all of it is ego-based. And which is why it doesn't help you out, right? Because your ego, it can help you out, it can save your life, it can, do certain kinds of things, but it can also completely impede you and get in your way and stop you from doing things that you feel intuitively called to do because it doesn't logically make sense for you. But here's the thing that I've discovered in my life is that when you just follow that intuitive hit and you don't know why, and sometimes I will argue about it. I will argue and I'll be like, no, dude, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to do it. But I like to just get that little argument in there first before I willingly give in. I'll give you guys a really good example here. So there was something that didn't make any sense to me, but I was being asked to do it. So this is a while ago. I was told I needed to break up with somebody, and I'm like, what? Oh, well, okay. Well, I can't do that right now because I wasn't, with this person, and they're at some important event that they've got going on, and I was told, no, like, you need to do it right now. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. This is going to ruin that person's time. They're there with other people. This is an important thing that they're doing, and I'm absolutely not doing that. I'm not doing that. Why would I cause damage on this person that would be unnecessary when I could wait and do it later? And it was like, no, you're doing it right now. So I was like, okay, I'm doing it. Okay, so I did it. Now this person was completely devastated and beside themselves. And I'm going to make this extremely long story as short as I possibly can. But because of the state that they were then in, somebody came and gave them some attention and saw, like, oh, hey, man, this person needs help. I can offer them help. And so they went to this person and they went, hey, I want to offer you this help. Now, this help was an extreme gift to this person. An extreme, wonderful, beautiful, giving, caring gift that, what they were offering them was worth over $15,000. For anybody else, and they're like, hey, I want you to come. I want you to experience this. I want you to come for free. You're my honored and special guest. I feel like I need to do this for you. So this, person goes and they take them up on that thing, and it changes their life. It completely changes their life. Now, and I'm talking, it changed absolutely everything about their life in a good, positive, and wonderful way. And so I was looking at that situation and thinking, how could this possibly be good? Like, why are you telling me to do something that is going to cause harm on somebody else? I don't want to do that. But was told, no, you don't have a choice here. Like, you need to do it. Obviously, we always have a choice, but I don't, man. If I'm told to do something, I'm going to do it. So I did it. Did it have the result that I thought it would? Yes, it totally did. But was that part of that person's life process? Yes, it absolutely was. And on the other side of it was the absolute best thing that could have ever happened for this person. So sometimes our ego looks at something and judges it and goes like, oh, that's not bad. I mean, that's bad. I don't want to do that. That's not going to be good for anybody. I'm getting this intuitive hit that's saying to do this, but I'm not going to do that because, my ego is telling me that this thing is bad when there is no such thing as bad or good or bad or right or wrong. It is our perception that makes it so. Like, you could say, for example, my ex-husband being the cheater that he was, we could say that was bad, and I would say, no, it's not. I would say that's the best thing about that man, because it made me leave him, and it made me get out from someone who was spiritually suppressing me, and it set me completely free, and had he not done that, I would still be there. So we can take something that looks so perceivably bad and then understand that on the other side of it, no, that was the gift. That was the box of darkness that you opened up and you were like, I don't want a box of darkness. But then you realized however long later, oh, what a beautiful gift that was. I wish I would have understood that at that time. It could have saved me so much grief. It could have saved me so much worry had I known that this was the gift. But we don't know these things until we know these things. So for example, at that same time when, I break up with this person and then they go through this and then they end up having this life-changing experience that was gifted to them. And so I was seeing how everything lines up and how if we just listen and we just do what we're told, things are going to line up. And that we don't need to wait. So let's say, for example, here, you've been thinking about quitting your job. And you're like, I've been told, I know I need to. It's literally draining the life force out of me. Like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, all I can do is work, and then I want to come home and go to sleep because I'm so tired because I just can't stand being there, and I got to recover because all my energy is drained away because you're not doing the thing that you're meant to be doing, because the thing that you're meant to be doing is going to give you all kinds of energy. I promise you this. I promise you this. When I went to Shasta here and we had this retreat, we had 15 people. We had a lot of people, but I only had 7 people in my house. And I was like, excellent. I was so pumped that I had these people, because this meant that at nighttime when we're supposed to be sleeping, I can be doing extra work with these people. And I got more one-on-one time with them. And I was like, this is excellent. And so we stayed up ridiculously late, some of these nights. And so I was operating on no sleep. And I have to tell you that I had more energy during that time than I've possibly ever had in my life. I'm a pretty high energy individual, but I need my sleep. And I didn't have it. And I was operating beyond 100% because I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And all the extra giving that I'm doing, in the evenings, helping people with this, helping people with that, it's not actually just giving because I'm receiving as well. That is actually what fuels me. That's actually what fills me up. And so there's no draining that comes from it. So if you're in something and it is not doing that for you, I'm telling you, it's not the thing. Now, there's no reason to panic. There's no reason, I got to quit my job right now. I got to do all these things. No, but you need to find that thing that you came here for a reason. And you came here to fulfill something. Maybe it's not. Maybe it has nothing to do with the job. Maybe the reason that you came here was to perfect relationships in some way. Maybe you came here to some other area of your life that is like, that's the thing for you here. I don't know what it is, but you might know what it is. Oh, excellent. Maybe I have some packages being delivered at my house right now. Dogs. Hey. So anyways, when you know that you're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, it'll give you all kinds of energy. But when you want to, let's say that you're like, okay, I can't keep doing this job. Okay, not only do I not like it, but it's, I'm having these effects because of it. Okay, well, when you know that, why is it that you don't just make a decision to quit and leave? Well, I'll tell you, it's because you don't have the backup plan, right? You're like, okay, but I can't just let that go and then step into this. I don't have a this to step into. And I'm here to tell you that the this appears once you've made the decision. It's kind of like an act of faith. So let's say, divine is telling you, man, dude, you got to quit this thing because it's draining you. And maybe it's just telling you that by physically telling your body, like, this ain't the thing. And so you got this hit, like, okay, I need to stop. And so once you actually make that decision, and I'm telling you, like, you need to energetically make that decision of, okay, I guess I'm quitting tomorrow. And you have that decisive power within you that's like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm finished, and I'm pumped for what's going to come for me next. And as soon as you make that decision, and as soon as you've done that, the next thing will just be given. It will just flow into you. Just some opportunity will come to you. And here's the why. Because you have how much energy? Let's say that you got a watermelon size of energy every day. That's all that you get. Okay, well, what % of that energy have you been using on that job that you don't love? 70%, 80%, 60, 50, 30, I don't know what it is. But that's a ton of energy that you've been using on something that is draining energy, not giving more of it, or at least not sustaining what your normal energy levels should be. And I know that, work can be exhausting and this and that, and sometimes we have days that's like, oh, that was a lot. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the consistency of you've known for quite some time. You've continuously told yourself, the first chance I get, I'm out of here. If you're one of those people that's like, the day that I win the lottery is the day that I'm quitting my job, you're not doing the job that you're supposed to do, because I got to tell you, if I win the lottery tomorrow, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I freaking love it, because it brings fulfillment for me and it helps people. They come to me and I just love everything about it. So when you can be at that point that you know that you're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, well, then everything's going to be really shifting around for you. And so if you're not at that point, then it's an act of faith. It's an act of faith to make a decision and say, you know what, the next step is not in front of me, but I know it's going to be there when I take it. I know it'll be there. I know it's just going to appear right in front of me. And I can tell you that I'm the proof of this. That, one thing I let go of, and this is very recently, and since then, it has not been one thing that has come into me. It has been many options and opportunities that's like, what? Where was this 6 months ago? Why wasn't this here? And I'll tell you why it wasn't here. Well, first of all, because it wasn't meant to be. There were still some things I needed to learn. I really needed to learn how to set up boundaries and work on my discernment. And I also needed to realize that not everyone's coming with me where I'm going. And that's totally cool, man. But you got to be willing to let the people go that, they failed the interview. Why did we keep them around when they didn't even pass the interview, but they're still here? It was things that needed to be learned to get to where I'm at now. And then now it's like, oh, all these things are flowing in. What do you want to do? You want to do that? Well, you could do that. You could do that. All these things are like, oh, all of those things sound fulfilling. All of those things sound amazing. But it did not come until I had made a decision. And when we realize that the decision that we're not making is because our ego is afraid and our ego wants to stay comfortable, then we can begin to do something about it. So if you've been feeling, let's say, this divine guidance that's telling you to go do something and you're just not doing it, whether it's have a conversation with somebody. I remember this one time. So I'm at a jiu-jitsu tournament. I think my kids were just participating in this in another city. And anyways, I see this kid, and man, I could tell he was so nervous. Like he's, lots of kids will go, adults too will go, and they'll be throwing up because they're so nervous before their match here. And so, Divine is telling me, you need to go and tell that kid, you need to go tell him that technique. You need to go tell him that technique, because I got a technique that's like really helpful for if you're nervous or if you're whatever, to just like get rid of it real quick. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I better. But I'm like avoiding this, and I'm not doing it because I'm doing things. I'm there watching my kids and blah, blah, blah. And the divine would not let up. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I go over and I tell this kid, hey, I want to tell you this technique for if you're really super nervous. Here's something that's really helpful that you can do. And he was like, okay, cool. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know how it was received. I don't know anything, but this story comes to mind because when we keep getting these hits and these things and they keep coming to mind, it is for a reason. It is for a reason because this place had, I don't know, 500 people in it, maybe not quite, how hundreds of people at this thing. And he was the only one, just some kid that I did not know, that I'm being directed and told to go and talk to this kid. And when I, didn't do it, it kept nudging me and kept nudging me and kept nudging me. So I don't know, or even, it doesn't matter what the result of it is, but I know it's something wonderful because the divine told me to do it. And so if you've had an intuitive hit like this, that you're like, I need to apologize to this person. Maybe there's somebody in your past and that keeps popping up and you're like, you put it off and you put it off and you put it, but maybe you've been told for years you need to do this. And you haven't done it. I'm telling you that when you take that step, when you let your ego go and you're like, okay, well, I don't care how they take it. The divine's telling me to do it, so they're probably going to take it really good. And if they don't, either way, it's going to end up really good because the divine is freaking telling me I need to do this. So I'm going to go and do it. And then when you go and do that, you will see the things that shift and the things that change in your life because that energy stream that you have that's continually in you that's like, oh, I need to go and apologize to this person from freaking 15 years ago. I still feel bad about it. They still come up in your mind and you still spend all of this energy that you don't realize your mind is your energy and you're wasting so much of it on them. And until you go and until you do that thing that you're being guided and told to do, you won't feel the relief that comes until you've done it. And then you're going to do it. And then you're going to be like, oh, that's why. Frick! Had I known that, I would have done it 15 years ago when I was first told to go do it. Right? These are the things that we put off, and we only put them off because our ego is telling us, don't do that. Don't do it. No, I don't want you to go do that. No, what if you get embarrassed? What if they reject you? What if they don't accept your apology? What if this happens? And the ego will step in and be like, look at me, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Keep everything the same, keep everything the same. And we often do that. We listen to it. Why do we listen to it? It doesn't help us. It's not helping us. It's keeping us exactly where we're at. Whereas if we can set that ego aside and we can be like, okay, well, I'm being told in many ways. I'm being told in many ways. First of all, I think it comes to my mind pretty often that I should and need to go do this. I have this physical feeling of like, oh, I'm almost feeling pulled that I need to go talk to this person or, whatever it happens to be. And as soon as we listen, as soon as we stop resisting, and we're only resisting because of our ego, as soon as we let the ego go and we stop resisting, the energy shifts, the energy changes. We feel completely different. We've now cleared up that energy. It's now gone. Well, you should have apologized 15 years ago. Well, that's 15 whole years worth of energy that you're not carrying in your energy system anymore because you did it. And so now how much energy from that watermelon do you now have more access? You have more access to that energy because all of this is not being used anymore. And so now you have all of that back that you can actually operate and function and use as your life force energy throughout a normal day. And so when we listen and we don't let our ego talk us out of things, it will completely shift and change your life. And if there's been something that you've been wanting to do and you just know that the divine is telling you, and the divine's telling you, no, it's okay, you can do this and it'll be okay on the other side, believe it. Trust in it. Take that step even though it's not there, and it will appear for you. And then this is something that, first of all, you have to have faith to do it in the first place, to be like, okay, I'm going to take that step and I'm going to believe that the step is going to appear when I take it. So you have to have faith. But then the cool thing is that step does appear when you take it. And so what does it do? It reinforces your faith. And then pretty soon you start operating differently because you're like, okay, well, last time that the divine told me to go and do this and I did it, like it panned out really freaking well. So maybe I should do that again. Then you get even more and more and more in tune, and you understand that every time the divine has told you to do something, not only has it panned out well, but man, maybe I should start doing this every hour of the day. Hey, divine, what should I be doing right now? Recording a podcast? Okay, cool, I'm going to go do that. And then you ask for and you seek more guidance from the divine, which what is that doing? It is strengthening that connection that you have, and it's reestablishing, reaffirming, and cementing, making solid your faith so that you are unshakable no matter what is coming your way. The storms and the winds could be blowing. You could be like, oh man, what's happening here? But you're so rooted in, you know, okay, cool. Maybe this is blowing off all my old leaves so that I can create new leaves. Cool. I love the wind. I'm so thankful that it's here because I know that every time that I've gone through something, I've leveled up and it's helped me on the other side of it. So I'm going to believe that this is exactly the same. And then you're planting these seeds of expectations of wonderful things happening in your life. And then guess what? You have wonderful experiences in your life because you're expecting them and because you've been planting them. And these seeds that come to fruition in your life, you planted every single one of them. And so if you've planted seeds of I'm stuck in this job, you're not stuck in that job. You are stuck in the mindset that has told you that you are stuck in it, and through the lack of faith of thinking that you maybe don't deserve a good and wonderful life. Thinking that, okay, well maybe my relationships can be filling, but maybe my career is not. Why do we do this? Why do we think like, okay, I'm 90% good, cool. I don't want to chance it. I don't want to go 100 and be 100% good, because what if that doesn't pan out? And what if I lose this 90% that like I'm cool with and I'm good with? But it is knowing that you deserve and that the divine wants for you every single good and wonderful thing. The divine wants you to have 100% beautiful, enjoyable, wonderful life. And it's only us that's like, no, I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, I don't think that's cool. Yeah, I don't know about that. But it's the ego. Is the ego that's saying that, because the soul is just light. And the soul knows how the universe works, and the soul knows that if it just believes in something, it will experience it. But anyways, this is what I have for you guys here today. Sorry, I'm going to not have quite so much content over the next several weeks. I got holidays and trips and plans and things and this stuff, but I want to keep in contact with you guys as much as possible, so I will try to get out as much as I can. But if I don't, I will see you in a couple of weeks. Love to you all, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.